And guess what I have planned for you guys? It's a recipe that a lot of you have been asking for a very long time. It's something that it's almost impossible. I mean, it's impossible to make, you would think. It's pozole. Pozole. I know it's very, very authentic. We make it for a lot of fiestas. For any celebrations, there has to be pozole. I know there's a lot of recipes out there on YouTube, but they use cauliflower for the corn, for the maíz. But guess what? I'm not making a pozole with cauliflower. I'm making a pozole with corn, maíz, the real maíz. Ah!
What? You can't have maíz? You can't have corn in this diet, in the keto diet?
Well, let me introduce you. You've never seen this before. First time, keto maíz. Voila! Oh! Here you go, meet maíz. This is our keto maíz, and I'm going to show you every step of the way how to make this for your pozole. I went into Amazon and I ordered these. There's actually to make coffee beans, and I guess like bakers use them. And they even have the little shape of the coffee bean. And I thought to myself, whoo, we could definitely use this to make our corn, our maíz. And the best thing is made out of silicone that you could actually, put it in the oven. Nothing happens to it. So it's like perfect, as you can see. Now, if you want to know the recipe, how to make the maíz, the dough, I'm going to put a link of my tortillas because it's the same exact dough as my corn tortillas keto. The only thing that we're going to change is we're going to eliminate the last 2 tablespoons of almond flour. And that's because we want the dough to be a little bit more like runny, a little bit more soft, a little softer. That way it'll be easier to fill in the little holes. So it's the exact same recipe of my keto tortillas that I'll put the link. The only thing you're going to do is eliminate the last 2 tablespoons of almond flour. And that's it. Well, with that said, let's get to it. The first thing, we're going to boil our meat. We're going to cook our meat because that's going to take the longest, between 1.5 hours or 2 hours. Right here we have 1.5 pounds of one type of pork meat. And I have another 1.5 pounds of a different type of pork meat that has little pieces of bones. Total of 3 pounds of pork meat. Feel free to choose any type of pork meat that you like. You could choose also chicken or beef, but in my case I'm using pork. We're gonna use 1 whole chicken, 1 whole head of garlic. Of course, just cut the tip at the top because we don't want the garlics to come apart. We just want the flavor. And the onion, just cut it in half. 3 bay leaf leaves and 2 tablespoons of salt. Right here in our big pot, we have about 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons of water. Right here, we're gonna put all of the salt, garlic, onion, the bay leaves, and our meat to boil. So now, as you can see, I have all the ingredients in my pot. We're just gonna let it cook between 1.5 hours or 2 hours. We're gonna be making sure the meat cooks well and it's soft. So let's start with our maíz, our corn, our hominy. This is the same dough as I mentioned as the tortillas. I will post the link at the end. It's the exact same dough as the tortillas, the video that I have. The only difference is that please skip, we're not putting the 2 tablespoons of almond flour that we put in the end as I show on my video. That's because I want the dough to be a little bit softer, just so it could spread easily. So let me show you these little trays that I bought. They're actually little coffee beans. I found them on Amazon, and I will also be putting the link of how to find them in the description box in the end. So anyways, it's very simple. All you got to do is just spread it in, just like that. And as you can see, I already filled them up. You do have another option if you don't have your little trays. You can do this by hand. All you gotta do is make little balls and just kind of pinch them, make them into a shape of a hominy. Just kind of play around. And you're gonna be doing that. Now, you can always get help from your kids, brothers, husband. That's just gonna make it a lot easier. So just keep going, keep going. So now we're gonna put it in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 to 15 minutes. And they are ready. We have our hominy. We're just gonna let it cool for a bit before we take them out. Okay, so now it's very simple. All you gotta do is just turn the little tray around and they all come out just like that. So now we have our homemade hominy, keto hominy. See, these are the ones that we did with our hand. There it goes. So now we're gonna make the sauce, the red sauce that goes into our pozole. Right here we have 5 guajillo chiles. Feel free to use California, which is a little bit milder. Then I also have 3 chiles anchos. They're clean, deveined, and we're just gonna boil them so they can soften up. Between like 5 to 10 minutes. Then we're gonna blend them. So now our meat is done. It's very, very soft. I can see it falling apart from the bone, which is what you want. So right now what I'm gonna do is just gonna eliminate all the garlic. See why it's so easy when you put the whole head of garlic and just with the little tip. So it just releases all the good flavor, but they don't fall apart. So then it's just very easy to fish them out. And we're gonna do the same thing with the onion. See if I find the big pieces. And our chiles are ready. They're pretty soft. So I'm just gonna turn off the stove, and I actually had them on the stove for exactly 8 minutes. So once my chiles and the water that it was cooked in, it's cool, I'm gonna blend them. Same kind of water that they were cooked in. I'm gonna add 4 garlics, 1/4 of a raw onion, 1 teaspoon of oregano. It's dry oregano. And 2 tablespoons of salt. Okay, we have it ready. But before we pour it in, we want to make sure it goes through a sifter. Oh, see how beautiful it looks now? Now it's tasting. We gotta taste it first. Remember, we added some salt when we boiled the meat. We also added some salt for the sauce. So now you gotta try it out. And this is the point where you're gonna decide if you add a little bit more salt or if it's just perfect. To my taste, I'm gonna add just a couple more tablespoons of salt. So now I'm just gonna let it boil from like 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'm just gonna turn it off. So now we're gonna make our spicy hot sauce called matcha salsa. We're gonna do 50 grams of dried chiles de árbol, 6 garlics already been peeled and cut in little pieces, 3 tablespoons of sesame seeds, 1 tablespoon of sea salt, and 1 cup of olive oil or avocado oil. So we're just gonna heat our oil, high heat. Once we take off the little tails on our chiles, we're gonna fry them. As soon as you put them in the hot oil, you turn off the heat and you're gonna stir them frequently, only for a few seconds. Make sure they don't burn. So now that you see them turning dark, so this is the time, this is the point where we start taking them out immediately. If you let them burn, your salsa is just not gonna have a great taste. It's gonna be bitter. So now we do the same thing with our garlic. Once it hits our hot oil, we turn off the stove. And now you gotta be stirring the garlic. And our garlics are done. Last thing, we do the same thing with our sesame seeds. We turn off the heat. Stir it very quickly. It only takes a few seconds. We don't want to burn it. Remember, if you burn any of your ingredients, your salsa will be bitter. So now, the way we're gonna take the sesame seeds out is we're gonna strain it through a we're gonna strain it first. So just like that. So it starts cooling down. So now once all of our ingredients are cool, same with our oil, we're gonna blend them together. But let it cool first. This oil has so much good flavor. It has the chili, the garlic, and the sesame seeds. So let it cool and blend it. So I added the salt and it's ready. This is an oil-based salsa. It smells delicious. This is a very, very spicy salsa. And just like that, our matcha salsa, it's ready. One tip I want to tell you, this salsa stays on the counter. Do not refrigerate it because it's oil-based. So it's just gonna change the taste if you put it in the refrigerator. Don't worry, nothing happens. It lasts a long time on your counter. It is very, very spicy. A little bit goes a long way. Just letting you know. You could use it for pozole, tostadas, or just on your regular food on anything. Now it's time to serve. This is very, very hot, so be careful. Oh yes, see, the meat is very, very soft, falling off the bone, which is what we want, especially because it's pork meat. I'm looking for another piece of bone. I just love the pieces of bone because it gives it so much flavor. You definitely got to get some meat that has pieces of bones, because it's just going to change the flavor of your pozole. See how good this looks. Okay, so now we're going with the toppings. But before we do that, we're adding our hominy. Our homemade hominy. This is where you want to put it in. You don't want to do it before because you don't want them falling apart. Now remember, they already cooked, so they're just going to warm up with your pozole, because as you know, my pozole is very, very hot already. So it's just going to be perfect for it. It'd be the perfect temperature. So now let's add, I like raw onion, But you know, if it's totally optional, up to you. You choose your own toppings. I'm just showing you what the typical toppings that pretty much the most authentic that everyone. Now right here you have a choice between lettuce or cabbage. I've tried it with both. In my case, I'm using lettuce today. And look how beautiful this plate looks. So now we're gonna add some fresh oregano. You can use fresh oregano or dry oregano. I had dry oregano. Remember our matcha sauce? Oh yeah, make sure you stir it well. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of that because remember it is very, very spicy. Alright, just like that. And of course, lemon. Squeeze some lemon on there. Wow. This is just amazing. And of course, this is the way, okay, let me add a little bit more salsa. This salsa is much as the one that we made. It just adds a little extra touch. It's super spicy, so a little goes a long way, let me tell you that. And for this, I'm using tostada because that's the way I eat it. That's the way a lot of us eat it. But I like putting a little bit of lemon on it and a little bit more of that matcha sauce. Oh yeah, it's spicy, all right, but you know I love spicy. And now let's dig in. Mix it in. I first want to try just the corn, the maize. Mmm. It tastes like maize, and look at it. It looks like hominy. Like real hominy. Mmm. Now I'm going to try it with a little bit of everything. Ooh! Oh, man. Oh, yeah, it's spicy. So I take a bite of the tostada. Mmm. Mmm. Little piece of heaven right here. This is OMG, the authentic pozole with hominy. Now we are ready for Christmas or any holiday you want to make it. Even if it's not a holiday, you can enjoy while being on this keto diet, an authentic keto pozole. And if you like my recipe, if you like my video, please give me a thumbs up. If it's your first time watching me and you like this video, subscribe. Hit subscribe and the little bell icon because it's going to remind you next time I put another video just like this one. I cook Mexican authentic recipes just like this one, but keto style. So until next time. Oh, before I forget, if you want to know the recipe of the tostadas, I'm going to put the link again at the end of the video. So it's the same dough as corn tostadas. It's the same dough you're going to use for the corn, for the hominy. It's the same recipe for the tortillas. You just have to either bake them or fry them. Well, enjoy. I'll see you next time. I'm going to enjoy my pozolito.